YouTubers. This little session is going to explore the topic of playing slide guitar on a guitar that is in standard tuning, E, A, D, G, B, E is the normal tuning. And it's got light gauge strings on it, like nines. And those are pretty commonly used in normal lead guitar playing. It's not intended for eights. Sorry, you're on your own if you want to try eights. So with that, I'm going to change the view a little bit to where I can, where you can see more of the strings and get a closer view of the fingering. And so hold on a second and we'll be right back. It's the Ernie Ball Super Slinky set. And it's got limitations, but like say if you want to use one guitar and you want to incorporate some slide and you don't want to change guitars, this kind of demonstrates that that is possible. I would say that if you're just starting slide, you might have difficulty, especially on this light 9 string, controlling that and keeping it from colliding with the neck. In which case, maybe you want to change that one string to a 10 or a 10 or 11 or an 11. So anyway, here's some riffs in regular, and then I'll do some slide in different positions. Like one position that is used on both standard and slide is 12th position a lot for high leads, like so let's do some slide there. Then we go down to 7th and 9th position. First position. I hope you can see that, but you're going, here's one on the G string. That's called vibrato there. Now that was a cheater slide or a hybrid slide because I wasn't really going with my slide down there. That's pure slide. With this same riff, that's the way the pure slide player would play it. A hybrid slide would be like, so hybrid slide lets you use some of your fingers. Hybrid slide is most conducive to use your pinky with the slide. Which we can go into a little bit more about what kind of slide to use, but you're probably going to need a less heavy slide at first, at least on these ones strung with lighter strings, not a super light one with this real thin glass on it. It's no good. You need some weight in there. So here we go. I'll do some more first position stuff. Now what you'll notice in these, the D, G, and B note of standard tuning, it's got some of the elements of a open tuning because it's got the first, third, and fifth, so it's very melodious right there, as opposed to here. Yeah, it's just fourths, and a fourth by itself is fairly melodious. 1, 3, and 5, or actually it's a fifth from G, which is D, the G, which is the root, and then the major third, which is a B off the G. So you've got the beginnings of a G tuning right there. And so you'll discover that even though it's standard tuning, noodling around in that area has got a really pretty convincing slide sound, which a lot of blues is done in slide, and so it's kind of bluesy sounding like. And when you move up to the 12th position, so you can do a lot on standard tuning, and because you already know it, presumably, I mean, if you've been playing the guitar, you probably started in standard tuning. Then you know where to go. But what I would submit to you, and we can explore it further in subsequent videos, is that you don't have as many melodic opportunities, if I can put it that way, as you do if you go into like an open tuning. Probably the most popular one for rock and blues rock is one that is called open E tuning. And open E tuning is really basically tuning your guitar to where it sounds like, because you tune these strings up where your fingers are, you tune them up, and then when you're playing open, it's playing an E chord. And so it's kind of already established an E chord, and then you're just jamming on the top of that. And you've got a lot of, since your slide only goes straight, typically, on, at least in ordinary slide guitar, then you've got a lot of melodic opportunities in there. You don't just have, but you have other notes that match, and you've got basically two rows of thirds, one a major third and one a minor third, and that's starting to get a little too deep to even understand what I'm talking about, so sorry for that. But anyway, what I would say is that for playing slide, especially if you're beginning, I think it's asking a lot out of a 9-string to really play a strong, compelling slide note. Notice the G. And it's all about tension. Tension coming from a lot of different directions. In other words, if you have more tension on your strings and more height on the action, the slide can do its work uninterrupted better. And so what I mean by that is the tension can come from heavier strings. The tension can come from strings that are tuned up from their normal environment or their normal place from standard tuning relative to standard tuning. The tension can come, well, you can get the strings higher. It maybe has some effect on tension, but by raising the bridge. And so all these things, if you do them, it becomes harder to play your guitar regular. And so if you're, you really are where I described at the beginning of this video, where you want to play your lead guitar, then you need to maybe raise your strings a little bit, but try and, it's going to be a compromise, basically. You're not going to be ideal for slide, but as you learn better, you'll find that being ideal for slide is not as hard as it used to be, and you can do it with lighter strings. I heard of a guy that's actually, he regularly plays with 9s, and he plays slide guitar with his lead guitar. Now, to switch from slide guitar, if you're playing one with, a guitar with lighter strings and standard tuning, to switch from slide guitar to regular guitar, you simply take the slide off. you know, obviously, but then you're back. And so if we tune this guitar, this high string down, which I don't recommend permanently, but if we tune that down, we have another element of G tuning. And then so when we're up here in E, for example, at 7th and 9th position, we're not just stuck with you know, that major third. We also have the minor third, and so we have a lot more of a bluesy sound. So. So we have a lot of notes just by doing that one thing for alternate tuning. But because it's a 9, I think that's asking too much of a 9 to not only have such a light gauge string, but now bring it down to a D. I mean, it can be done, but I would recommend if you're going to do that, put a 10 or an 11 on there, and then it will play better. You know, this is kind of a wimpy setup that I don't really like that much, but it is fun. If you tune it to an E tuning, you will be bringing your tension up, because this note's going to go up, that note's going to go up, this note's going to go up. And because they're lighter strings, it's probably not likely you're going to break them as easily. And so this last G string, it goes up to a J sharp. So welcome to E tuning. That's how you do it. I'd say it's pretty safe on a string with light, or you're increasing in tension, which is good for slide. You haven't done anything about that 9 up here, which I keep harping on. But you've increased the tension, which means the action the neck tension has caused the action to probably go up a little bit, and now you have lots of options like this. You also have octaves in certain areas. But it's hard for me not to make faces when I do that. So anyway, so we'll get into other tunings later, but I wanted to kind of cover some of that.